an amazing day. Now in this video I'm going to show you how you can grow and care for epiphytic cacti. Now there's quite a few different types of epiphytic cacti, and before going to the care I'll just show you briefly what they are. This one here is a Rhipsalis. As you see, it's lovely long trailing stems, and I'm just going to take you into the conservatory, show you my epiphytic collection. Now these are the Epiphyllums here. There's also dragon fruit also, and some more here, and there's also a Orchid Cacti on here, and a Orchid Cactus there, and a little dragon fruit there. Now with this care, quite a few of them, this is just going to be mostly about the epiphytic cacti, such as the Epiphyllums and the Rhipsalis and the Schlumbergera cacti, also known as the Christmas cactus, Easter cactus and the holiday cactus. Now with these, the reason why I'm doing a video is because I quite often get asked about the requirements for these, because they're very, very different to desert cacti. Now with the desert cacti, they like to be kept, usually when the winter, most of them are completely bone dry except for some of the mellow cacti. And they like to be also overwintered in very cool conditions. Some of them can take sort of minus temperatures as well. Now the epiphytic cacti can't. They like much, much warmer temperatures, and the different types of them do vary. So before I sort of go into a little bit more on that, I'm just going to show you the two that do stand out a little bit different from the average. Now the dragon fruit here, that's classed as an epiphytic cactus as well, as it usually uses trees in the tropical rainforest to actually anchor itself on when it grows. But they always like a very minimum temperature of 10 degrees because they're very prone to spotting. They get to like the dark orange spots and that, and they're also very prone to rotting. So if you have any of these ones here, always taken to my office, where it's a lot warmer than in the conservatory where it can drop to about 5 Celsius. So if you have one of these, before I say anything else about these epiphytic cacti, always make sure you keep them a lot warmer than any of the Epiphyllums. Also a Orchid Cacti like these here, they are sort of classed as epiphytes, but they are actually sort of crossed with, the requirements are actually a bit more like a desert cacti. They don't like the humidity like the normal epiphytic cacti do. They do like to be kept quite dry, much lower humidity, but a little bit more watering than the average desert cacti, and they can take cooler temperatures as well. I mean, this one takes quite cold temperatures in here. Anyway, I'm going to start this video. I just wanted to mention them two varieties, because the Orchid Cacti and the dragon fruit are a little bit different to the average epiphytic. Now, they're called epiphytic cacti because they grow in the tropical rainforest. They actually hang off trees, and they live off decaying vegetative matter, sort of leaf mould and everything like that. So they're not actually parasites, which is commonly thought. They actually do grow off the trees, and they're their own plants. They're like host plants. Now they like to be kept in, again with the desert cacti, they're always kept in very, very bright light. But with the epiphytic cacti, they don't like too much all-day sunshine. Now, I keep mine in a bright spot. They're actually in the conservatory, which is very bright, and it does get a lot of sun. But in this particular spot here, they tend to get morning sunshine, and then from about 12 o'clock onwards, as you can see now, they're not getting any any direct sunshine. So although it's bright, they're not getting all-day sunshine. So always keep your epiphytic cacti in a bright spot where it receives some morning or afternoon sun, but not all day intense sunshine, because they do tend to, they go red in too much sunshine, and also they can get damaged as well. They don't like too much heat. They tend to go very yellow. I'll just show you what's happening with my other epiphytic cactus here. This is my other one. As you can see, it's a bit yellow. It's actually, it's a healthy plant. There's nothing wrong with it. It just gets a bit too much sun where it is, and it's actually looking a bit yellow. It's actually to show you why they actually do prefer a much more of a shadier spot, but still with some sun. Now, in the winter time, again, they don't like to be kept as cool as the desert cacti. Now, I would recommend, in this spot in the conservatory as well, because it's actually backing onto the house, it never gets that cold. It never drops below 7 or 8 Celsius, this part. The front of the conservatory would, which facing the windows, but this part doesn't. And I find they do absolutely well here. I never let them go too cold, unlike the desert cacti that can take sort of 5 Celsius and even freezing temperatures. So if you have your epiphytics, keep them at a minimum temperature of about 8 Celsius, because epiphyllums, again, they can scar, and they can also get spots, the dark spots, will be too much cold, and God forbid they can even rot in too much cold. So don't keep them too cold, unlike the desert cacti. Now also, when it comes to watering, the desert cacti, when it comes to overwinter them especially, I don't water them at all from about the beginning of October until March. Now with the epiphytes, they do like to be kept moist all through the year. But what I do in the winter time is, instead of obviously giving them a good watering like I do during the spring and the summer and the autumn, I let the soil dry out completely, and then I just give a slight bit of moisture, just enough to wet the surface of the soil so the roots don't die back or anything, because they don't like to be kept bone dry. They just like to be kept slightly moist during the winter time. So don't let your cactus go bone dry in the winter like your desert cactus. They do like to be kept moist. And as you know, a lot of the Christmas cacti do like to continue growing all through the winter. That's when they're flowering, in fact, the middle of winter. So you need to give it then plenty of water during the winter as normal, but just not obviously soaking it. Now I just want to show you my Christmas cactus, because this is one that does grow all through the winter, flowering right obviously in the middle of Christmas. So this is one I will keep well watered during the winter, unlike my other epiphytic cacti. So just to show you that one, if you have a Christmas cactus, don't keep it just lightly moist. I'll give it a good water during the winter time. Now these are some of my Rhipsalis cacti here. I've got a little collection on here. I absolutely love them. I think they're amazing. They're lovely pending trailing stems here. They're really unusual. Now again, it's exactly the same thing as the Epiphyllums and the Schlumbergera. A bit of a tongue twister. This little one here, this is actually an Easter cactus. That's wonderful. But yeah, with the Rhipsalis, exactly the same care again as the Epiphyllum. Again, these are winter flowering. Some of them are winter flowering, some are spring flowering. But I just keep them lightly moist as well. And a good tip, if you really want to get your epiphytic cacti to flower, I find tomato fertilizer. You'll laugh, but it really works. And on the desert cacti, by the way, I'll do a separate video on that, saying about how to get your cacti succulent to flower. But I find it's a really good thing to use. I use it usually about once a month during the spring and the summer, and probably about once every 3 months during the autumn and the winter. But it definitely makes a difference, it really does. And the soil I use them in, I prefer to use, you can use a bit more of, I don't like using peat in general, especially not with the desert cacti, but you can use it a bit more with the epiphytes, because they like to be kept more moist. And what I prefer to use myself though is a soil-based compost, a Johnson's number 2. And then I use about 60% Johnny's number 2 and 40% perlite, and I just mix it. And some experts would say you have to use this and this and this, but I find mine do absolutely fine on that. And I also use as well with some of them, I use orchid compost, just plain orchid compost, and I find they do really well in that as well. So you can either use commercial orchid compost or make your own up, and I find that Johnny's number 2 and perlite does the job for me. They don't like, I mean, normally when I'm doing the desert cactus, again, I'd use a lot more sand, but they don't like to be kept too dry, so this suits me. Now, I think if there's anything else, if I've covered everything. Oh yeah, when it comes to water, the water, if you can, always try to use rainwater. I know it depends on where you live, whether you've got clean rainwater and that, but I'm really lucky because where I live in Ireland, there's no big factories or anything like that, sort of in the country here, and the rainwater is pretty clean and pure. And I find that they really thrive on rainwater. All cacti and succulents, by the way, but epiphytic are very prone to hard water damage. You'll find they'll often get a bit of spotting and that. It's funny because I was having that problem. A lot of mine were going funny spots on them and I didn't know what it was, and then I found out it was down to the hard water. This is when I, a few years ago, got into it and switched to rainwater, and the difference in them is unbelievable. So there you go, guys. I'm just going to take you back out again, back into the conservatory. As you can see, I've got my water bottles there. There you go, guys. I hope you found that useful. Any questions or anything at all, just drop your comments and your questions down below and I'll be happy to help. And I'll put some links down below as well. I've done a few videos on epiphytes, on how to trim them and how to get them to root, how to take cuttings, and also repot it in an Epiphytic Rhipsalis cactus, and also how to repot Schlumbergera, and also how to propagate them as well. So I just want to send you loads of love and loads of happiness and tons of happy growing as always from Ireland. Until the next video, guys.